Alright guys, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a few cheap upgrades to the 2007 through 14 07 up Tahoe. This bike style Tahoe Yukon Silverado. I really like this vehicle. There's a few things that I feel like could have been improved upon from the factory. I'll show you a couple things I'm going to be addressing real quick. First is a lack of a cabin filter, and what's interesting is they didn't put one from the factory, but the factory offers a cabin filter and the door to access door. So you have to cut the bottom of the dash where this goes, put the filter in the access door. So while we got that apart, I'm gonna try to get a view up in there and see if it's dirty. The AC works great in this thing, but for future, it's nice to be able to have this so the condenser doesn't get stopped up, the evaporator doesn't get stopped up. So the second thing is something that if you got one of these, you're probably familiar with or probably have experience. This roller here for the door check. Let's see how that one, that bushing is supposed to spin. See, it'll turn a little bit, but it'll hang up. And it's really annoying. It makes a noise when you're opening and closing the door. I've got it greased up right now, so it's not as bad, but it's pretty annoying. And over time, that's just going to continue to wear and wear and wear. So again, that's a factory issue, but the GM has a solution to that. So what we have here is, so this is a kit to replace those wearing pieces and make them greasable so that we won't have that issue again. So this is the new pin and roller that's greasable, and this is I guess you'd say the bushing that that shaped plate rides on, which is greasable as well. Now, this is a factory part. It's got instructions and everything. So by putting this in and just keeping it greased, that should eliminate the problem in the future. Now, this was a factory part. This part was $108. Just these couple pins and bushings. And I say, man, that's crazy. Because I can get, this is a GM part. I can get a GM, the whole hinge assembly for $150. So people probably say, well, why wouldn't you just spend $150 and get a whole new hinge? Well, two reasons. I would have to paint it, and it's just going to wear again in the future because they don't sell a pre-built replacement hinge, well, with the pins that are greasable. So I'm just going to have the same exact problem later on down the road because I plan to keep this vehicle a long time. Now, you could get an aftermarket hinge, replace that if you want to do that for a lot cheaper. They also make an aftermarket hinge, greasable pin kit like this for $30 or $40, but I'm not going to go through all the work to do that and have a part that I still feel may not hold up. So we're going to jump into that, and we're also going to tackle the cabin filter. So let's go ahead and get started. So it looks like the first thing that's got to be removed is lower access panel here, and appears to be two screws holding that in. One here. Don't need a big tension. Alright, both those out. We should just throw them down. Oh, there's one more screw back there. Wow. Okay. Who would have thought? Oh, I see. So these clips pop out, then this slides in. So that's how it comes out. Okay, so now I can get to that last bolt that's up in there. So you can see this rectangular spot right here. So you can see the relief here cut out, and the screw hole here where the let me find the piece, which is where our door will sit in there like this and then bolt up right there. So that's all we gotta do is cut that out. So I think we cut it inside of that groove right there, that channel. And that's what we're gonna do. So let's get us a tool and cut that out and see what it looks like in there. So we're gonna use the good old multi-tool on this here. See how good that works out on it. I know you probably can't see what I'm doing, so I'm gonna try and give you a look at it here. So basically I'm just going inside that ridge and scoring that and then cutting it. So anyway, I'm gonna finish this up, getting it cut out, and then I'll kind of show you what we got. So sorry I couldn't get a good angle on this while I was doing it, but basically that's what we're left with. The front edge I couldn't really get to, so I just took a utility knife and kept scoring it until I was able to break it off. And you can see that my evaporator is rather dirty, so I'm gonna try and clean that best I can. And I'm also going to take some sandpaper and run around the edge of this hole I made just to clean up all those edges, and then we will get the filter installed and the door installed. Okay, so I've got it cleaned up. I'm trying to get a good view on it. So let's see how this door is going to fit in there. Okay, so this one go up and it's going to seal up very nice. It's got this foam padding, so it looks like once it goes in it's going to seal up real nice, and it'll be nice and serviceable from here on out. So I'm going to clean this. I'm going to try to get a maybe some sort of like a soft bristle brush with a long handle. I can try and go up in there and just slightly massage the fins there. You got to be real careful. You don't want to, those fins can very easily bend, and once they bend there's no airflow going through there, so that'll really cut down the efficiency on the unit. You want those fins open and flowing. I touched some with my finger and it was just really easy. It doesn't seem like it's really embedded in the fins, more or less just on the outside. Try to massage that off, then I'll take a little bit of air and blow up in there and try to get that out. So I'm gonna try that. We'll see what the results are, and then I'll catch you up on it, and then we'll install the filter and the door. Okay, so you can see we got it a lot cleaner than it was. It's not perfect, but that'll do for now. It was dirtier than I thought. I've got a chemical that will clean that like brand new, but it's listed not for indoor or interior use. It's super strong. I think there's an inhalation hazard to it, so I'm gonna have to get something more suitable for this, and I will clean it better. But right now it's a lot better than it was, and I don't have to worry about it, and once I do get it clean I don't have to worry about it dirtying back up in the future. So we have to install it. You have to note the airflow and put it with these pull tabs down. That way you'll be able to get it out easier. You're gonna put it back in. Some of these cars that are tighter, you have to kind of bend the filter. I think that's probably why these edges are cut like that. At least it's not a Nissan. Those things freaking suck. I hate Nissans. So, there's stupid cab filter. Everything's stupid about Nissans. I don't like Nissans, in case you didn't notice. Okay, making progress now. And like I said, this is just stupid that this didn't come with one from the factory. Some of your Ford pickups are like that too. That didn't come with cabin filters, and I have the most trouble with those and AC problems with this stuff getting stopped up. Haven't had as many trouble with the Chevrolet ones, but the Ford ones is awful. Really no reason for a manufacturer not to put a cabin filter there. I mean, especially, I mean, look, they added a provision here, so I mean, how much harder would it have been just to add the filter? Yeah. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me, but who am I? Alright, so now we just got to put our door on. So I'm just going to fold these tabs up in there like that. Like so. Okay. And I know what you're seeing in the lighting is terrible. It's a hard spot to get into and see, and it's late at night. It's the only time I got to really work on things. So, but it's there. Now we just got to start our screw. Okay, so that is the finished product of our access door all installed. And I'm not going to put the rest of the panels back in yet, because I'm going to go ahead and pick up some cleaner and take that back down and clean that evaporator out. So anyway, for now that's it on that. And yeah, not a bad project, and I think it's definitely a worthwhile addition to this body style of GM pickups and SUVs. Okay, so we're going to get started on the hinge. I went ahead and put some tape on the edge of the door, so just in case it does move around, hopefully we don't get any scratches. I've secured the door, bottom of the door, on a jack with a piece of wood. So I've got 13, 13 to 13. There's 4 13s right there. So I would just have these two. I believe those are 10s. Really good job to have an extra set of hands. Got our hinge out. Had to kind of, the way this was shaped here, had to kind of pry back on the door just a little bit. You don't want to go crazy and, you know, bend your upper hinge or anything, but got it out. First what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean this thing real good. It's got some grease and a lot of spray lube I've been kind of bandaging it with over time. Let me get that cleaned up real quick, then we'll check back in. Okay, now with it in this position, there's not much tension on the spring. You can see I can kind of move it around a little bit with my finger, so should be able to get it out a lot easier. Okay. Now it can open and close freely, but we gotta grind this one down for the roller. Then we gotta grind this one down for this little check piece, whatever you want to call it. So get that done real quick, and then we will move on. Okay, just holding it tight enough. So first off, I'll grind out the pin for the roller, then we'll get this other one out of the way. Okay, so where I'm at with this roller pin right now, I started grinding this side of the head. You can see it bent back. I'm starting to hit it with a okay, so at this point I started grinding down this side of the head, on this pin. It's just kind of bent back. I started hitting it with a chisel. I'm just gonna try to chisel the head off of that and see if it'll fall out. The more and more this annoys me, the less and less I care about protecting the paint, but I'm still gonna do the best I can. That was way harder than it needed to be, or should have been. Way harder. There's that pin, or what's stuck in it, what's left of it. And I don't know why that was so hard to get out of this piece. Now we just gotta finish getting it out of here. So with me grinding the back side of this one, I don't think it's gonna slide forward because, you know, I think this piece stops on it, so keep it from coming out of this. So we're gonna have to cut this side of the head. Let's try and do that now. I'm gonna switch to a cutoff wheel, see if I can get in there and kind of get that cut off, and then we'll finish it off with the chisel. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Let's try and knock that down. Shouldn't take much. Okay, that's out. So the last thing to do is we gotta knot what's left of this pin, bushing, whatever. Okay, so what's left of that bushing? Pesky thing. Okay, so now we gotta start putting all this mess back together. So our first step is going to be slide the short pin through the cog with the hex head facing the inside of the hinge. So that's how this should go. Bolt side, cog, bushing face, hinge, and nut. Let me get something, I'll tighten these up real quick. Okay, so I just tighten that up. Of course it says don't ever tighten. I want to make, I've got enough where it's seated good and it's not slop in it, but it still moves freely, but it's not flopping around, so I think that's a good medium. So after that it says place the roller pin into the existing hole with the grease nipple remaining outside of the hinge. Right, so try and put it where you guys can see here. Let's get our parts real quick. So everything I do is real quick. Have you noticed everything I say real quick, real quick, real quick? A lot of times it doesn't go very quick at all. Okay, so this same will go through the hole. This is the grease pin will the grease fitting will face outside of the hinge. Okay, so place the roller bushing onto the roller pin shaft, then place the threaded section through the existing hinge hole. Put that in there like so. Run that up in there like so. So it says pull the roller pin in place, threading on the supplied 1/4 inch nut. And this is kind of a tapered press fitting in here, kind of like grease fitting would be. So let's put it this way so you can see. As we tighten that, it should pull this pin this way and seat it like it's supposed to be. So yet, so we'll see. As we tighten that up, if you watch, you can see this drawing this in. If my hands ain't in the way, maybe. No, I'm not the best with camera angles, guys. Bear with me here. Okay, let's put this in the vise to hold it while I'm tightening this up. And just gonna bring that pin in, press it into place. Once that pin seats, should be good. I don't want the pin moving around, but it needs to be able to, I don't want too much pressure on this bushing either. Camera keeps cutting off, guys, keeps overheating. So I got everything installed. I got this. It was hard to find a balance of this where loose enough where it will spin freely, but the pin not be loose. I think I found that. Everything I got everything greased. You may have noticed I made a boo-boo. Originally I had this. This piece was actually, I had it flipped over outside of the hinge where obviously it wouldn't do anything. So I had to take that back loose and put it in the correct orientation. So right now, we're gonna put our spring back in. As we learned earlier, it's easier to do it when the hinge is in the door closed position. So we're gonna try and put that in real quick, and then we will be done with the hinge. So in theory, this should be the best place to put it. There we go. There. Now we can just loosen this up. Okay, this is our completed hinge assembly. It's greased, and I'm excited to put it on and see what it does. The only thing I'm concerned about again is this being tight enough to not have play in it, but loose enough to be able to roll freely. But it's got everything greased already, so we're gonna go ahead and reinstall it. I'm trying not to make this video any longer than it has to be, install is going to be the exact opposite of the removal. So we're going to throw it on and then we'll see how it works. Okay, so we finally got the hinge installed. A little annoying doing it by yourself, trying to get the door lined up and everything and not scratching anything. So we got that done. So let's listen to it. There wasn't much noise with the old one, but it sounds pretty quiet. Let's look at it. Okay, it rolls pretty smooth for the most part, I think. So some issues, right? So you see you got this nut up here. So if you tighten that down too much, the roller doesn't really want to spin freely, but you barely put any tension on it. And I'm just doing it on the bench. It's a little different, you know, on here, but just had a hard time getting the tightness on that. It was either too tight or it was either too loose. I think I found a happy medium. I'm gonna just keep messing with the door, and if I might tighten it up or loosen it over time if I have to. Right here on this one, you can see how the rubber's kind of broke off. You can see right here where I had to, the grease fitting was making contact in here inside the hinge, so I had to take and massage that a little bit, grind that down a little bit, and grind down the tip of the grease fitting a little bit because it was making contact in there, and which isn't good either. So, and I done it the way it asked, the orientation. It didn't ask for it to be up. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not exactly sure how I feel about it yet. I'll have to take some time and kind of see how it holds up. So I'm not sure. For the money I paid for it, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like the fit and finish on it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be, especially with that grease fit and contacting the inside of the hinge. I think that's kind of crazy. But it is what it is. It was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. you know, getting those old ones out, they were really stubborn. And, you know, trying not to scratch everything up. It's kind of impossible. I did the best I could. It was a lot of work. I got several hours tied up in this. Way more than I expected. I don't know. I'm not sure if it was really worth the time and all that, or if I would have been better just to just put a new hinge on it and just paint it. Because I've got a few things I've got to paint with this vehicle as well, like these pieces, this piece, and these trims back here. Just don't know when I'm gonna get to that. So, you know, I could have painted the hinge and got a new hinge to paint it when I done that. Just not sure when I'm gonna get around to that, and I wanted to go ahead and tackle that issue. So it is what it is, but that's how you install it. So you can draw your own conclusion. I'm not really sure if I'm sold on it or not, but you know, I say it's repaired for now, and see how it holds up long term. But anyway, hope this helped you. If you got any questions, please feel free to ask, or any suggestions if you put this kit in, and we'll see you on the next one.